Good afternoon, good afternoon. It is I, Almantas, former professor, current VTuber, old man who loves old things. And I hope everyone is having a lovely, lovely day. I hope everyone's having a lovely, lovely day. I was having a pretty good day up until 5 minutes ago when I found out that the tall and small redeems have been broken by OBS. That's pretty annoying, if I'm being honest with you. Thank you. It is St. Patrick's Day. It is St. Patrick's Day. I am, as mentioned, I have Irish ancestry, and like average Irish American, I know nothing about my notionally ancestral language. I know how to say, I know sláinte, and I know Tech Fer de la. And that's it. That is the knowledge of that is my knowledge of the Irish language. And I don't think Tech Fer de la is a very St. Patrick's Day phrase. So yes, that's where I'm at. But yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. For people who may not know, I always find this kind of interesting. While 4-leaf clovers are symbols of good luck because they are rare, 3-leaf clovers are more important to the St. Patrick story. The 3-leaf clover was St. Patrick using a clover as a way of teaching Trinitarianism to the people of Ireland. Trinitarianism is, I think, most people know what it is, but if you did not have a Christian upbringing, Trinitarianism is the belief common to the vast majority of Christians, vast majority of Christians, that God, the Father, and the Holy Spirit are all, or I should say, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit are all God. They are all subcomponents of God. That, that there are 3 leaves on the clover, but it is all one clover. And that God and Jesus are not separate entities. They're separate elements of the same entity. They are components of the same entity. They're subsets of God. And so that's useful to know. That's a useful little piece of knowledge. I think it's a cute little thing to know. And yeah, if you grew up in a, I suppose it's possible that I might have some listeners who are Nestarian, but very, very much that's the majority belief of almost all Christians, of functionally all Christians, and so. Yes. Yes. Oh, and hello. But yeah, I may as well show you what the issue is that is happening that is driving me a little bit insane. Because it is driving me insane. There was a joke that Christian God is technically a triple goddess. I mean, I think that humans have a bit of a bias towards things happening in threes. We tend to have a bit of a bias towards 3. I don't quite know what it is. It seems very embodied. It feels very, very deeply ingrained in us as a species. But yes, so here's what's going on with OBS Move. So it's not as big of a deal for the small. They seem to have changed the way that transforms work. And so this thing that I am doing right now, previously, so I'm trying to do a transform where it will cut the window size of my of VTube Studio from the top, and so you shouldn't see anything until I draw it down so far that it starts cutting into the top of my model. It should look like a void is starting at my hair. And instead, what you see is that it moves me upwards. And so this is fundamental to the tall redeem. The tall redeem doesn't work without this. And now it doesn't work. So I can't do that. So we don't got redeems today. Enjoy your movie. Enjoy your movies, Xanadu. Enjoy your movies, Xanadu. Which is a shame. I was going to talk about the car ad thing. I was going to talk about my theory, I should say. My perspective on why car ads be like that. My car ads be like that is why car ads be like that. Yeah. I'm probably gonna go for about 6 hours today. Is my plan. For like 5 or 6 hours. My theory about the car ads. Why are car ads so uninformative? Is that a huge percentage of why you even do ads has very little to do with with like selling somebody that your product is a good product. That's an arguably trivial element within the question of why you would do that. It's a pretty small percentage of the question. The main thing we're doing with ads, as a rule, is you're trying to remind people that your product exists. There's a rule of I believe it's the rule of 7 in this particular case. I believe it's a rule of 7. And the rule of 7 is that you start getting really bad diminishing returns on advertising. You want people to see your product. You want people to be reminded of your product 7 times over the course of like a month, which is a lot. That's a lot. And this is why Coca-Cola spends a truly outrageous amount of money on advertising. Coca-Cola is one of the most heavily advertised products on the planet. And everybody knows what Coca-Cola is. There are not... The number of people on the planet who do not know what Coca-Cola is vanishingly small. And it is very unlikely that you will meet somebody who has never developed an opinion on how much they like drinking Coca-Cola. Coca-Cola is extremely common the world over. It is not a luxury product for Americans. It is a luxury product for everyone. It is so freaking common. And you all know what it is. You know what Coca-Cola is. You don't have to be told what Coca-Cola is. But Coca-Cola needs to keep on reminding you because they are not trying to fight against your logical thinking brain. They are not trying to invade your logical thinking brain and persuade your logical thinking brain that Coca-Cola is a good, tasty treat. They are trying to remind you that Coca-Cola is youth. Coca-Cola is innocence. Coca-Cola is stability. Coca-Cola is peace. Coca-Cola is your parents. Coca-Cola is your grandparents. They are trying to insinuate themselves into every positive feeling you have. They're not trying to just present you with a product that you weigh against other things. They are trying to make it so that when you think positive thoughts, you think Coca-Cola and you buy a Coca-Cola. Now, Coca-Cola is just the extreme example, right? I like to start at the extremes and work my way backwards. I have a scientific background, and that's how you work in the sciences, is you start with the boundary conditions. You start with the stuff that is easy to prove, and then work to the stuff that is more nuanced and mushy and complicated. And with cars, Xanadu was correct to point out that car advertisements have a significant problem, which is that cars have a significant problem in that I can watch a car ad and I can tell that I'm looking at a car ad, but I can't actually tell which car I was looking at. car advertisements are designed to get you to associate cars with freedom, with being outside of the consequences of your daily life, with being separated from the mire and the challenges and the obligations and the suffering that is your day-to-day existence. That is what they're trying to do. They are not trying to get you to, like, actually think about what this particular car is like. They're trying to get you to feel things about cars in general, which I don't think is particularly wise as a rule. I don't think that that's very smart use of your money from an advertising perspective. Because everybody needs a car. Hello, Tohu. Because people need cars. The reason why people own cars as a rule is not because they feel a lack of freedom, but because otherwise they can't get to work. Right? Like that's like the power that is getting you to buy a car is not to expand your freedoms, it is downstream of your lack of freedoms. And so car ads are kind of incoherent in this sense. And this is mostly, I know that Blasphazar was talking about how he's seen people make some very emotional purchases, which is true. People do make a lot of very emotional purchases. But if you can't get your audience to even remember whether they were looking at a Honda or a Toyota or a Ford, how are you going to expect them to remember that when they get to the parking lot, when they get to the car dealership? What they are going to... People kind of have different car buying strategies. My family is very analytical. I don't think this should surprise people too much that a very analytical guy has a very analytical family. And so our method of buying cars involves a lot of reading reviews and writing up tables comparing different makes and models, and then talking to multiple different dealerships and seeing how much they are charging for certain types of cars versus the sticker price. And so that's how my family has done car purchasing. Right, is, looking at safety features and gas mileage and comparing and contrasting on big charts. That said, the main other method I know for people when they buy cars is they go to the car dealership with a budget. And the budget is frequently like $1,000. And they go, what can you sell me for $500? Which for the non-Americans here, $500 is very, very little for a car. That is very, very, very little to pay for a car. If you are buying a car for $500, you are not buying a lot of car. You are buying a rust bucket. It'll get you a beater. Yep, Grey Moth. It will get you very, very little car. It will get you cars that don't have heaters. It will get you cars that, you have to manually use the windshield wipers. It'll get you cars that require a lot of work. Yeah, yep. Tohu has the kind of experience that I'm talking about. And to put this in scale, Yeah, exactly, Grey Moth. The kind of this kind of car situation is the kind of car situation where the this is the kind of car situation where I should say to put this in a matter of scale, Teslas cost well over $100,000. And Teslas aren't well made. Like, Teslas are not good cars. Teslas aren't good. Like, they're famously not good. I don't know if people know this, but you know, that's a really bad example. Yeah, 13, yeah, I mean, that, you got a really good price on that, Tohu. You got a very good price on that. I am surprised. You got a good price on that one. That's a very good price. Normally, a normal new car that is not a piece of shit is probably closer to like 50K. 50,000 is like a decently new car. Oh, yes I did, Grey Moth. Yes I did. I should also make sure that people, one of those things I think people should probably know, because I find this very funny, is that Tesla, is that not just Cybertrucks, but all Teslas. Hello Nando. But Tesla as a company has, the average Tesla purchaser files a formal complaint with the Consumer Protection Bureau every 6 months about the quality of their Tesla. Did you even know that you could do that? Did you even know that you could do that? I didn't know that you could do that until I learned that statistics. The average for every other car company is once every 10 years. Once every 10, like literally 20 times as many complaints about Tesla quality. Well, you live at, Nando, you don't live in the US. Literally 20 times as many complaints. And I don't think it should really be that surprising, right? Like, Tesla is, the most important thing I think to know about Tesla's build quality as a company is that Tesla car manufacturers, like the physical, not like the company car manufacturers, but as in like the people who actually build your car, that is skilled labor. That is legitimately skilled labor. That is legitimately really skilled labor. And the average, if you work in Detroit for one of the big manufacturers, for, you know, your Fords and stuff like that, you make almost twice as much as Tesla employees make to work in California. So if you are paying half as much as market standard to pay people to live in a more expensive state, what do you think happens to the quality of your product? I don't think I need to explain very hard. Let's get the hellos out of the way. Hello, Peko Neko, who actually managed to beat Seribot here. Hello, Seribot. Hello, me. Hello, Punderful Owl. Hello to Xanadu, who has already left us. Hello, of course, to Blosfazar. Hello to Goblins. And hello to Momo. And hello, Tohu Bohu. Hello, Grey Moth. And hello, Pickles the Little Dill. Hello, Nando. And hello to all of the lurkers and the VOD watchers, and Are You Catharsis, and Scaldy1, and the VOD watchers again. I appreciate all of you. It's very kind of you to be here, to watch me, to support me in my endeavors in this, in my little streaming project that I am trying to turn into something of a lifestyle. Thank you all for that. Yes, happy St. Patrick's Day. Happy St. Patrick's Day. As mentioned early on in the stream, I am Irish American, and like the average Irish American, I basically know Irish. Irish Gaelic is a really challenging language for English language for speakers, and the and I find it kind of interesting that St. Patrick's Day is what it is in the United States, because it's, you know, it's a religious holiday for the Irish. It's a religious holiday, but Americans have turned it into much more of a civic holiday, and we've centered it very much on alcohol consumption. And thank you. VTube Studio really fought me on this one. VTube Studio did not want me to have this one. And so it is kind of a, you know, the way that Americans celebrate St. Patrick's Day is there's usually parades in major cities and specials on beer, and people get very, very drunk. And that's really kind of about it. The city of Chicago very famously dyes the Chicago River green, which is not good, environmentally speaking. Not a good maneuver. For, you know, for most of us. And I find this to be pretty... what's the word I'm looking for here? Crude, I guess? Pretty crude. And as far as I know, the proper Irish folk don't hold a lot of respect for us Irish Americans on this one. A detail about this, I should say. This is the actual interesting detail about St. Patrick's Day. And if somebody redeems a history fact and asks for St. Patrick's Day, it's pretty much the only story I've got, so they're going to get it again. The unfortunate for them, so don't do that. Bad use of your channel points. That one. So the St. Patrick's Day story. The reason why St. Patrick's Day is so widely celebrated in the United States. I don't know about that, Grey Moth. I mean, we invented rap music. I'd hope that people would respect the people who invented rap music. You know, and jazz. Jazz is wonderful. What I would... Oh, I mean, you're from Philly. Philly is very, very worth being proud of. Come on, Grey Moth. Philly rules. Don't talk down on Philly. The way that I would say... So the reason why St. Patrick's Day actually tends to often be a civic holiday, cities will often have formal celebrations of them. And yeah, go Birds. The way that the way that cities do this, the way that cities do St. Patrick's Day parades is often, you know, like the city itself will fund and run a parade. And if you are familiar with American legal systems and civics, you might be wondering, wait a second. Hold on. Why... How does this not run afoul of law of the First Amendment? How does this not run afoul of the First Amendment? Because it should, right? It should. This would qualify as the state endorsing both a religion and an ethnicity. And this is fair. This is a fair consideration. This is a fair consideration, and I think it's reasonable. And the answer to that is actually really distressing, which is that St. Patrick's Day parades are often in the United States, they are often justified and rationalized as police parades, as celebrations of the police force. Because the Irish Americans have historically been extremely overrepresented in police forces in the United States. They have been historically extremely overrepresented in police forces, to the extent that some cities make the claim with a straight face that to celebrate Irishness is to celebrate the police force. And the police force is not a religious institution or not generally recognized as a religious institution, and is not generally recognized as an ethnic designator. It is recognized as a civic institution, as a civic institution that is a arm of the state's legitimate use of power, and so it's perfectly fair game for the city to spend money on a police parade and just call it a St. Patrick's Day parade. I think this is thin. I think this is pretty thin gruel, and not gonna lie, I'm not really super in favor of I don't feel particularly positively about this. Oh, tag barrel storage, it's so unlikely. So unlikely that Quaileg dies today. So unlikely. Not impossible, but very unlikely. Quaileg, I think Quaileg has a... Quaileg is currently escaping the guillotine. Has managed to evade the chopping block so far. She is the boss that I am the closest to beating. I am definitely closer to beating Quaileg than I am to beating Capra, or I might be closer to beating the Moth, but I just don't like Moonlight Butterfly. I just don't like the fight. I'm definitely closer to beating Quaileg than I am to beating the Moonlight Butterfly or the Gargoyles or certainly the Capra. Makes you think it shouldn't. Yeah, fair. It shouldn't. That does not make me think. That makes me think that you are saying some silly things. You are saying some silly things. But yeah, I was thinking about this the other day, that Americans don't tend to write that much or that deeply about the Irish American experience, including me. I don't write particularly about Irish Americanness, in no small part because I think I didn't have that typical of an Irish American upbringing. I was raised by hippies, right? So I don't think my experiences were particularly representative of how most Irish Americans relate to their Irish Americanness. And the Irish American experience in the United States is that that's not important. The way that we write about the Irish American experience seems to center very much on, like, late 19th, early 20th century immigrants. That is the Irish American experience that we actually talk about, is what was it like to live at that particular moment. And it shouldn't be that odd that people focus on a particular seminal moment, right? Like the amount of time that people spend talking about the Three Kingdoms era of China versus talking about even like the Han, let alone like the later Jin, right? It's very disproportionate. And then, of course, there is, general Christians. The general Christians in America write much more carefully and much more deeply about the, like, maybe 20 years where Christianity was violently suppressed by the Roman Empire, and not the 1,100 years that Christianity was the official religion of the Roman Empire, or the medieval experience of the understanding of Christianity. Like, they very much focus on those. Hello Nuna. They very much focus on this very narrow span of time, so it's not like that unusual. But I think in the case of the Irish American story, the part of the story that gets talked about a lot in history classes, but rarely in fictional portrayals, and I think it's actually an interesting place to go. And hello, iPop. The part of it that I think is actually kind of interesting one is what I just alluded to, which is that Irish Americans came to the United States and faced a fair amount of discrimination. This discrimination is largely downstream of twin factors, one being the typical repetitive and banal chauvinism of Americans against newer generations of immigrants, and the other being a slightly more bespoke thing, which is that Ireland, in the British Empire, Ireland was the laboratory of colonialism. And so almost every method of colonial control and oppression was tested in some small way on Ireland before it was brought to Nigeria and India and Jamaica. And that includes being really fucking racist. A lot of early racist literature is specifically about how Irish people are fundamentally and racially totally distinct from English people. And hello Blue. And so this tends to be, so Irish Americans did face this, and Americans imported those attitudes because Americans are, you know, downstream of the British in a lot of ways. And first they came to measure our skulls, and I said nothing. Yeah. And so the Irish did face a fair amount of discrimination in the early 20th century. And the Irish mechanism for dealing with this was, by and large, to become so fucking racist. That was by and large the solution, was to just become radically, incredibly racist. And was to look at how Americans were being racist and say, we can do more. We can be more racist. And so they put in the effort to be more, that's what they do, right? The Irish Americans become super racist and get super invested in American police forces, which are the shock troopers of American racism, the front line, and I shouldn't even say the shock troopers, the line troopers of American. Actually, no, shock troopers is actually pretty good. Actually, the elite guard infantry of doing racism in America is our police forces, and so this is kind of what the Irish American story is starting off as a discriminated against underclass, and then finding one of the few groups of people that are even further along the line of being social pariahs than them, and going extremely hard into discriminating against those and performing discrimination. And it works. I have not. It has been generations since meaningful discrimination against Irish Americans was a significant factor. Irish people have, by and large, become white. We are, by and large, treated as white people. It is rarely, if ever, contested whether or not we are white people, and whether or not we deserve the rights and privileges afforded to white people in these here United States. It worked, and that's a weird story. That's a weird story, and I think that a fiction story about that would be pretty grim and grotesque. Would be pretty grim and grotesque. And I pretty much have never seen it because I don't think people really want to make a story about how their own ancestors were pieces of shit. And not even like heroic pieces of shit, right? Like this is not like I'm descended from Confederate generals, you know, like this is not like I'm descended from catastrophically, outrageously evil people. I am descended from people who were willing to harm innocent people for a little bit of job security, right? Like it's you know, it's banal and stupid and evil, and it's just a depressing letdown. And I think that's interesting. I think that's an interesting story. I think that is an interesting story that our society could do with. Because I am a sicko, and I think that things being interesting is more important. Things being both interesting and true are important, and I don't necessarily care about the emotional beats of it. I mean, we're talking about the difference between communal action and individual action. The Irish becoming white is not an individual action. That's not something that individual Irish people did individually. It's something that Irish people did collectively. It was a collective series of actions that the Irish did together to elevate the status of all Irish people. So when you see people online talking about collective action, you can remember that this is an example of collective action. Also, hello Nocturnal Ash. Hello Nocturnal Ash. How are you doing today? How are you doing today? For the Raiders, I am Almantas. I am a former professor of sociology, and now I am an anime man online. And I am doing a Dark Souls themed subathon. Hi Ash, hi Ash. Excellent, excellent, excellent. I will say that I am currently pretty annoyed, because OBS, I didn't even patch it. I'm driven a little bit insane by this. I didn't patch OBS. However, despite the fact that I did not patch OBS, OBS has decided to change the way. I don't know how this happens without patching. Since Friday, OBS has changed the way that transforms work. And so now the tall and small redeems are broken. I've had to disable tall and small because they don't work. I'm very annoyed about this. I am very, very annoyed about this because I love the tall and small redeems. But I only found out like while we were in the starting soon screen. We were in starting soon, and I was like looking around. And I was like, why am I so big? Why am I so big? Because I was like 3 times the size that I am right now. I was like gigantic, and I was like, that looks wrong. And then I played around with it a little bit. It's like, oh, if I hit tall Montas, I disappear. Yeah, I think the small might still work. Here, let me test it out. So, okay, small's a little bit borked, but not too bad. Let's send me back to normal. Let's see what happens when I hit tall. Yeah, so this is what happened when I hit tall. I didn't change anything. This is what happens when I hit tall. Like, this is no, that's not okay. That's not okay, and I can't figure out how to fix it because they changed the way the controls work. They changed the way the damn controls work. It is pretty funny. No. I will have to spend some time offline working on it. It is pretty funny, but I don't think it's funny enough. I don't think it's funny enough. But like, yeah, like, so this is part of how I use the tall. This is part of how I use the tall, is that I use the alt click, and alt click is supposed to change the location, change the boundaries of the, is supposed to change the boundaries of the window that you're operating on. of the source that you're operating on to like, so like if I hold down Alt and left click on the top and drag it down, it should change the size of the VTS window until it starts cutting into my own head. And it doesn't do that at all. It doesn't do that at all. That is not what is happening at all. Hello, Karatsun. Hello, hello, hello. Blastoise, that's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. That's pretty funny. However, they've changed the controls on it. Yeah, no, it always had the guillotine. Now it doesn't. Yeah, I don't. Okay, so is it? Well, I can't change. I can't cancel. I'd have to kill stream and start over. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to do that. We're just going to have to live without tall and small for today. Unfortunately, I will probably. That will probably actually bias me towards ending stream slightly earlier, so that I can futz around in OBS more. Yeah. Oh, but Sock should be fine. Sock should be fine because it's not on the OBS side. And there I am. And there I am. I'm Sock. Yeah. Yeah. Also, I'm sorry I didn't say it. I did not say it, but Nocturnal, if you need to take a rest, absolutely do so. No, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it at all. Yeah, there's less real estate on the sock, so I had to figure out some place to put the clover, and this was like the best I could come up with. Everything else I could come up with would interfere with the no spoilers banner. Okay, that's good, that's good. Yeah, but if you need to, obviously, this is just not just true for raiders, this is true for everyone. If anybody needs to raid and run, if anybody needs to take a break, I will not hold you to it. I will not hold it against you. You are extremely allowed to just leave whenever you feel like it. Whensoever you wish. You are allowed to take a break from watching an old man be very bad at Dark Souls. There is no obligation. There is no obligation. Hello, Gamma. Hello, Gamma. But yeah. Where are we on the ads? We're 8 minutes out. We're 8 minutes out. But yeah, what was I going to say? Where's my Dark Souls? Oh, there it is. Okay. There it is. My weekend was busy. My weekend was busy. I worked. Sunday in particular was really busy. I basically probably put in like 16 or 17 hours of work on Sunday. And I got out my edited clip show of my Dark Souls playthrough, which a couple of other VTubers contributed to, but I am very let me go grab it. I made a little clip show about our experience with Dark Souls. You can see it here. This was legitimately making this 2-minute video was legitimately way harder and more painful and unpleasant than everything involving Dark Souls. Everything else involving Dark Souls so far. Making this video was actually way more of a drain on me than everything else I've done with Dark Souls. This was actually frustrating for me. Whereas, playing the game has been fun. Dying a lot has been fun. I have enjoyed my time with Dark Souls. I did not enjoy making this little video. I do not enjoy video editing. So I don't think I did a very good job, but I don't want to spend another 50 hours making it look good. So, too bad you get this. But it was an enormous amount of work. It was definitely a bigger drain on my time and resources than Quilleg has been so far. And yeah, so I had a very busy weekend. Mostly it was my other job. I didn't do that much work on stream stuff over the weekend. I almost entirely did work on my other job. But you know, it did kind of eat me. My Saturday collab was very good. I'm actually looking forward to playing more Worms. Worms I found really fun. Worms I found to be really, really fun. I really enjoyed playing Worms with Bug and Inari and Utternear and Songs. It was... I really liked that. I look forward to doing some more Worms collabs. Worms is pretty good. And Worms is a pretty good collab game. Like, as these things go, I think Worms is a pretty good collab game. I was having fun with Worms. I did win one round. We did do a bad job on our settings. Where, I don't know if people watched, I don't know if anybody here watched it, but we did a very bad job on our settings where we played with the beginner mode for most of the time. And beginner mode, you have a ton of jetpacks and bats. And so, like, a pretty large percentage of all of the kills we got were somebody gets onto a high spot, and then somebody else flies up to them and then bats them off of the map, hits them with a bat, and they just go flying off the map and die. And then, like, now you're on top of a really high building. So then somebody else flies up with their jetpack and punches and does the same thing. And that would happen. We'd lose like 4 worms. Like out of like 20 worms, like 4 to 10 worms would die that way every single round. So then we changed it over to the intermediate weapon set, which you get on the intermediate weapon set, you have like 1 jetpack and 1 bat. So like way less ability to do that. But we do that, and then we play on a map where honestly it would have been helpful. Honestly, we really should have had the beginner weapons for the Mario Brothers map. Like, the beginner weapons on the shrimp map did not go well, or on the Krusty Krab map was really bad. But on the Mario Brothers map, which was just so huge and so dispersed, and it would have actually been really hard to kill somebody with the bat like that, but like, oh my god, the lack of airstrikes really killed us. The lack of airstrikes was really murderous for us. So we just had like a ton of rounds on the Mario Brothers map where we're just like, what do we do? Like, it's too spread out, and the lines of sight are too crappy, so we're just like getting nothing done. We're just like getting nothing done here. No, I had a great time with the worms. It does help that like everybody I was playing with was really good sports, and like particularly like I'm friends with Bug and Inari. And I get along well with them really well on stream. And so I had a really good time. I had a really good time on Saturday. I had a really good time with that. And it was good to do a streaming thing that wasn't really streaming. And hello, Hoomter. Hello, Hoomter. Hello, hello, hello. Hello, hello, hello. You came in like right as we're about to go into ads. We're right about to go into ads. Your Mako plushie came in the mail today. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Hell yeah. Australia to Sweden. What a trip that shark has been on. I mean it's like $2 for Armageddon, $4 for WMD. We played WMD edition because it was like easier to set up lobbies in, and it made Bug mad. Bug really prefers Armageddon, but Bug is also like even more of a boomer than I am, and just like that's bug for you. Yeah, I had a really good time. I had a really good time with Worms. However, we are going into ads, and when we come back from ads, I will put us onto Dark Souls. So enjoy the fan art, and I'll be back in just a minute. And I'm back, and I'm back, and I'm back. So just to remind folks, Subathon is in excellent shape. We are at 250 out of a potential 500. Hold on a second. This is annoying me. Okay, I'll take that. We are 250 out of a potential 500 for our total subathon goals. We have hit a lot of very important ones. We've hit a lot of very, very important ones. So a lot of the ones that we have left are ones that that are more punishments for me. The drawing stream and the scary stream are like actual punishments for me. I probably shouldn't have put them right next to each other. That was foolish of me. But so it goes. So it goes. On that note, Dark Souls, Prepare to Die edition. What the heck am I even holding right now? Oh, stupid. Yeah, we forge onwards. We forge onwards. So today we are level 6. We are at the Firelink Shrine. We have 66 hours, 54 minutes, and 20 seconds on the clock. And let's think about this. Let's think about this. So let's think about this. Hold on. Thank you for the reminder to get myself ready. To get myself ready with the death counter. So, oh, didn't want to punch him.
I'm not up for chatting. Leave me alone.
Okay, so you got nothing for me. So, I think other than the Capra Demon, I've done pretty much everything in the Undead Burg. There's not a lot left in the Catacombs that feels unexplored to me other than the we have not, Tohu. We have not. We have not. No bells so far. No bells so far. The bell gargoyles remain very far above my skill level. I mean, what I remember being told is that one of the bells is up high and one of them is down low. I think there's a bell behind the bell gargoyles, but they, as a fight, it's like, it's really beyond my skill level, right? It's just really beyond my skill level. Huh, that's a challenge. That's a real challenge. Like I said, I feel like I am... I would estimate that based off of my performance so far, that the bell gargoyles will take me, like, maybe 1,000 deaths. Yeah, I mean, maybe, I guess. I don't know. It just seems like something I haven't unlocked yet. Okay, so, well, I'm just going down the checklist. So, Undead Parish, I think I've done everything in Undead Parish other than the Bell Gargoyles, who are, like... I guess I could try to grind those, but like I said, we're talking, like... I expect 20, 30, 40 hours of attempts on the Bell Gargoyles, so I'm not really that enthusiastic. Well, I haven't unlocked... Well, I don't know that, but that's my read of the situation, Hoomter. You're getting perilously close to backseating. Like... Yeah, I've still acquired 0 souls, so, like, I guess I have it unlocked, I just haven't unlocked acquiring souls yet. Or... reducing the number of required souls. I'm really... I really am, like... I really have a memory of that saying 759 at one point. Which implies that, like, I guess I could level up by getting it down from 758 to 759. From 758 down to 0. And then being at 0 out of 0 will get me there. But it's so far been incredibly long. Totally no spoilers. Yeah, I'm seeing a lot of numbers and they don't mean a lot to me. Anyway, I am... Hoomter, that's a very complicated question. Like, I mean, in-game, I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's something I don't have. That's what I know, Hoomter. And we're, again, dangerously close on here. Dangerously close on here, to just backseating. Hello, Commodore. Hello, Commodore. So, well, I still didn't finish my audit. I still didn't finish my audit of my options here. So, Undead Parish feels like a pretty tough block. There is that bridge at the Undead Parish that says still closed, so there might be some lock or something that'll get me through there. That would be really useful, right? I'm wondering how things operate in this world a little bit. Hell, I'm allowed to talk about... Yep, that's fair. That's fair. That's fair. That is true, Hoomter. That is true, Hoomter. This is a blind playthrough. This is part of the game. This is part of the game. And... this is part of the game. Now... let's think about this. So... Undead Parish and Undead Burg feel like kinda dead ends. Tomb of the Giants, I obviously have a ton left to explore, but it's really frustrating to explore it. And I'm wondering if there might be some other way of lighting the Tomb of the Giants other than just using the lantern. Like if there's a torch or something else that might be an alternative tool. I know that there's a little bit left of the catacombs that I am pretty sure there's some of the catacombs I haven't seen yet, but I am not sure about that. But I'm not sure about that. And then... I mean, Blast, that is something I'm contemplating, right? There's plenty... There's a lot of Blighttown left to explore. Blighttown and New Londo have a ton left to explore. I have a ton left to do in those two areas. And Valley of the Drakes, I feel really stuck. Valley of the Drakes, I feel like I have very few options in. Like, there's a big gated wall, and then and it's just there, and it feels like there's like very few options I have in Valley of the Drakes. Darkroot, I don't think I've fully explored, but I don't think I fully explored Darkroot, but I've just been there a lot, so I'm kind of just like, it feels kind of stale to me. that said, the biggest piece of progress that I have made in this month was by wandering around Darkroot. So I don't know if I should take that as I have gotten what there is to do in Darkroot, or as there's more to do in Darkroot, right? Like, if I'm being like a real, like, finance brain way of thinking about things, a real content creator brain. Peko Neko! Thank you for the gift subs. Thank you for the gift subs. That's very kind of you. That's very kind of you. Thank you for the gift subs to Orochi Zero, Turtle Sheen, Microwaved French Tea, Lenacha, and Commodore 356. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As ever, this stream is a public service stream, and it is supported by viewers like you. It is supported by viewers like you. So let me think about this. It's so kind of you, so kind of you. Now let me think about this. So, Londo, Tomb of the Giants, I have a ton left to explore in, and Blighttown. I think I'm gonna go with Londo for now as a direction to go in. Because I'm curious about some of the stuff in Londo. I don't know if actually I don't know if there's a ton left to do in New Londo, but there's enough to do in New Londo that I'm curious about. That's where my heart is telling me. That's where my heart is telling me to go, is to New Londo. Not today, Elevator Shaft. I think so. I mean, again, like, I did think I had Darkroot relatively well explored, and that turns out that I was missing something. But with the case of Parish in particular, I don't think I'm missing anything in Parish other than that isn't behind the gargoyles, right? If there's stuff behind the gargoyles, then I've missed all of that, obviously. But I suppose, like, if I looked at, you know, I don't know. I like this. I was talking about Hexton last time. Alpine, holy crap, Alpine. Hold on a second, I'm about to die. Welcome in, Alpine, welcome in, Alpine. Yeah, good lifts. How are you doing today, Alpine? Whoop, whoop. I didn't catch what you were doing because I woke up really late, so I didn't get to actually watch your stream. Oh, that's the death right there. Death number 1201. Hold on, let me get the shout out for our lifter. What was Alpine doing? You did it! Congrats, Al! Oh my goodness, what a choice. Alpine has been doing a all regions Nuzlocke of Pokemon. Has been doing it, and I don't really know what this means because my Pokemon experience is I played Pokemon Red on release on a Game Boy, an old Game Boy, not a Game Boy Color, an old Game Boy. And I thought it was fine, and that's my Pokemon experience. I guess I played Pokemon Snap, and that's about it. I've never played anything other than, like, first gen Pokemon. So, like, I don't really understand all I know is that I looked at what Alpine was doing, and it was enormous to my mind. It was absolutely enormous. But congratulations, you're free, Alpine. You are free. How stressful was it at the end? How stressful? I can only imagine how incredibly stressful it was to go into those final couple of fights, knowing that, like, you might have to start it over again. But yes, for the Raiders, I am Almantas, former professor of sociology, current VTuber. I'm an old man. I love old things. I do a lot of calligraphy streams. I do calligraphy, I do miniatures painting, I play some games sometimes, but for March, I am playing Dark Souls. This is a blind run. I need to be emphatic with you. This is a blind run. I do not know what is happening, and I am very bad at the game. You can take a look at the top left. That is not boss kills. That is all kills. That is all kills. And thank you for the sock. I have died 1,201 times doing this. I suck shit at this. Yeah. Thank you, Commodore. Thank you, Commodore. Thank you, Commodore. But yes. Yeah, I mean, Tohu, I could probably improve the ratio by being more violent. That's true. I am being relatively non-violent. Oh, Greymoth, I've been to Blighttown quite a bit. I've actually died, almost fully like a third of my deaths are in Blighttown. I actually like Blighttown. I've enjoyed Blighttown. Blighttown's fun. I don't know if Blighttown's been my favorite part of the game because that's probably been the catacombs, but I've enjoyed Blighttown. I have overall enjoyed. I guess actually technically no, I haven't died that many times in Blighttown. I've died that many times in Quelleg's domain. I have died over 300 times to Quelleg. So, yeah. So, anyway, I should have said this, Alpine. If you need to raid and run, if it is time for you to get in your lifts, then absolutely go ahead. Absolutely. Please have a lovely rest of your day, and thank you for entrusting your raiders with me. Got some clients, but I'll lurk here. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Al. It's always good to have you here. One of these days, we've got to figure out a collab to do together, Alpine. I'm gonna give you another shout out because I like you so much. We got to figure something out. We haven't been able to figure anything out because our content, the content overlap. We haven't been able to figure it out, but I like Alpine a lot. Yeah, we just haven't come up with something. It's just this is a person who I like and get along with, and then it's just I don't know anything about Pokemon, right? I do think I've got an idea. I'll DM you. I will DM you. Oh, there we go. Excellent. How many have maintained the dietary and exercise needs of their ranks? That would be very difficult to measure because of source space issues. And Commodore, I don't. I am relying amusingly on my notoriously shaky memory. Admittedly, my memory is actually is actually holding up pretty well because I've mostly been viewing this as an exploration, as a mapping experience, and my ability to remember geographies is pretty good. My ability to make internal maps of buildings and locations is generally pretty good. Ow. But yeah, iPop, that would be really challenging to do from a source space perspective, right? That's going to be the big problem there, source spaces. There are some armies where we have decent source spaces from, but those are by default going to already be the ones that are pretty well managed. Nice to pull off the hardest part of this Okay. And let's keep going. And Jeezy Pete's, I don't like those ladies. Yeah, survive. There's definitely a. Well, I would even call this source bias in particular. Oh, what's this? What's this? I have not seen this before. Okay, gotta chug as soon as I get up here. No, I have seen this before. I forgot. I was just talking about I've got a pretty good memory for these things, and then I forgot. I have been up here before. Do you have anything for me?
Hello there. Where have you been? I'm glad to see you're well. How can I be of assistance?
Hi, Eldra. Hi, Eldra. Yeah, this is my sock. This is my sock.
I am the guardian of the seals. I watch over the four kings, the masters of the dark wraiths. The dark wraiths are the enemies of man, and any living thing that has a soul. They were born in New London, and that is where they perished. The entire city was sacrificed to contain them, for that is how great a threat they were.
Hell yeah, hell yeah. Yeah, Alpine stopped by. Alpine stopped by. No, me and Alpine know each other. I wonder how did I meet Alpine?
I want
okay.
They were for the.
Written notes don't tend to go super great for me. And hello Hazmat. Hello Hazmat. Written notes don't tend to go super great for me because I just never check them. I need to put my notes in spreadsheets. That's how I do things. But I haven't been taking notes well. I did have handwritten notes for Signalis. Because there's a lot of like math puzzles in Signalis. Ow, ow. I have never seen them do a lightning strike like that. Whoop. Oh, I die. I think so, Eldra, actually. I do think so. I do think that you are the one who led me to him, Eldra. Okay, so let's... Let's get down here, and... Oh, almost died in a very, very dumb fashion. Unfortunately, Eldra, I am worried about the... I fear the copyright demons. I fear the music copyright demons. And so I just don't play copyrighted music on my channel. That sounds good too. That sounds good, Eldra. Yeah. I don't play copyrighted music on my channel. Everything I've got, I have through Dova Syndrome, specifically through Noru. I think actually 100% of my music is not. I think 100% of my music that I actually use anymore is from Noru. I have a couple of non-Noru songs, but because I am lazy and not even lazy, I prefer elegance. There's a part of my brain that is tickled and satisfied by being able to say all of my music is by one person. It's just like a weirdly emotionally satisfying to me. So oh, I'm in trouble. Oh, nope. I expected to die there. I should have died there. Should have died there. Oh, yeah, a nightmare, a nightmare. I could not do my own music composition. I just don't have a mind for music. Nice. Okay, so I want to go over this way. Ow. Oh, nope, that's another wraith. Oh, there's a basement? No, wait, no, dang it. Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Okay. So what am I doing here? I should be dead. I really should be dead. Chug, chug. And... Okay, yep, I knew there's somebody over here. Yeah, I know, right? Like real 1 HP there. Rare Ring of Sacrifice. I'll have to check out what that does later. Oh, ho, ho, ho. Should have died there as well. Ho, ho, ho. What's... Okay, I have been over here. Oh! Take a swim. Take a swim. Take a swim. Because it's bothering Hoomter so much. Still no progress. Still no progress. Now I'm less confident that I've got more things to explore in New Londo. That house was like the main thing I thought I had to explore, but it looks like I kind of did some transpositions in my head and messed it up and made me think the space was larger than it was. So that's a bit of a shame. That's a bit of a shame. And... Oh, alright, Hoomter, alright, Hoomter. I knew that was a real possibility. I knew that was a real possibility. You know, there are people who really love this game and want to see it explored, and I am exploring it in a way that is, kind of embarrassing for everybody involved. Yeah. I mean... I feel like I'm trying lots of different things. Alright. See you, Hoomter. See you, Hoomter. It was a pleasure. It's a pleasure having you around whenever you show up. Let's think about this. I'm not confident that I've got a lot left to do in New Londo. Let's think about this. Okay, so hold on. What's the... I might just go to Blighttown just because I like Blighttown. Actually, wait. There was something I was curious about. There's something I was curious about over the weekend, which is like weapons have durability, right? Okay, these do have durability as well. These do have durability as well. I was afraid of that. Yeah, these have armor has durability as well. So let's take a look at some of the things I've actually worn frequently. Okay, this thing is only taking 11 durability damage. That's not that bad, but still, I am worried about running out of armor durability. Hello, Mura. Hello, Mura. Yeah, nah, not really. As long as it's like entirely, as long as it's like so abstract that like a no normal person would be able to connect the dots. I mean, Humter did actually. I will be sad without Humter. Humter was asking some pretty provocative questions, like what is a soul? You know, what is a soul is a kind of provocative question, because it's you know, in Western parlance. In Western parlance, you know, a soul is kind of like, we all kind of like understand, at least hypothetically, we all kind of have an agreed upon cultural understanding of what a soul is that, you know, transcends the need to explain what you're talking about. And you know, people ask that question all the time, like, what do you mean a soul? Because like, you know, we tell little kids, that, you know, their soul goes to heaven when they die, right? That's something we tell little kids. That if they're good and when they die, their soul goes to heaven. But it's, you know, I think it's fair to ask, like, what do you mean? Oh, yeah, I'm dead. Ooh, okay. Oh, crap. At least I died by gravity. Dying by toxin always makes me feel stupid. Where was the soul before we died? Yeah, where was the soul before we died? And what does it mean to, like, yeah, no, it still looks like nothing to me. 758. Yeah, still looks like nothing to me. Am I missing something in the controls here? Left, right, select, left, right, shoulder buttons, A, B, R3. Add or Almantas? Yeah, I mean, this is what I'm here for. This is what I'm here for. Hell yeah. I love it. I love it. Huh. I've got Homeward Bones. I've got Dark Signs, Estus Flasks, purple. I've got some Moss Clumps. Oh, almost went down. Almost went down. I've got Moss Clumps. I know the purple Moss Clumps. help. I know the purple moss clumps help, but I only have one left, so I kind of want to be very sparing with that. No, I've got, I just de-equip a lot of things, like these cracked red eyes and Eye of Death and stuff like that. Like, I just leave them alone, because I don't know super what they mean, and I don't feel like I have really hit a wall yet on these things. Did I put up my... Was that 1,204 deaths or 1,205? No, 1,204. Okay, okay. I get really worried about that. I should run the DS deaths again, but it was being hinky last time I tried to run it. It was like, we don't have access to this text document that we made. And it's like, what do you mean? I am a little bit worried that I might have to do a fresh install on my PC, which would be annoying. Alright, no, don't worry about it, Elder. Yes, how many things I've killed, yeah. It's not bosses, Hazmat. The people ask for the boss list that I've completed pretty frequently. My boss list so far is, Asylum, Taurus, and Pinwheel. Oh yeah, Mora. Ah, boo! Boo! Crap. 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 I think those guys didn't used to follow me down like that. And now for the flamethrower dogs. Okay. Flamer dogs is such a goofy enemy type. Ow. Yeah, toxic is brutal. Toxic is brutal. Yeah, I'm... I think that's pretty rude of them, Commodore 365. I think it's pretty rude of them. There is a question, though, of, like, what do we mean by rich, right? Like, what do we... Because I've seen people say some insane stuff about, like, what they think qualifies as rich. For example, I've seen people, as recently as the last 48 hours on Blue Sky, talking about, like, if you own a computer, right? A computer. Any computer. That makes you rich. If you own a $200 Chromebook, that means that you are rich. Yeah, I'm pretty rich because I live in... I'm an American, right? I'm an American. Americans are, by default, pretty rich. And so it really depends on, like, what you mean. Well, again, I thought it was very silly. I'm not endorsing that perspective. I think it was very, very silly. I think it was very, very silly. I think that computers are $15 these days. And also really funny to be posting that on Blue Sky. It's like, well, wait, hold on a second. Like, are you saying that all Blue Sky posters are rich? Yeah, no, it's that's kind of where I'm going, right? Is like, to me, the level of richness that matters is not, like, your consumer habits. I kind of have a bit of a Marxist approach on this one. The kind of richness that matters is, do you have the kind of money that can change other people's lives casually? In which case, like, Sheriff _ Bikin, thank you for the follow. I tend to subscribe to a with great power comes great responsibility approach. Hold on a second. Oh, I'm not gonna make it. With great power comes great responsibility. And I mean, yeah, Tohu, that's a thing we're thinking about. That's a thing we're thinking about. It's why I have a really strong belief that I owe it to my neighbors to like I give money to the homeless pretty much every time. I give money to the homeless pretty much every single time. I see them. Well, see, yeah, Murrah's got a consumption habit one, which I don't like these consumption habit ones because like I pay $40 a year for Dropout.tv, right? Like that's not life-changing amounts of money. Oh, Tohu's classical. Tohu's classical doing classic tide. Hello, Hug a Tree, be a target. And Hazmat, I did see your question. I'm not ignoring. I'm just following this line of questioning because it's provocative, and I had more productive things to say about it. Yeah, give you $40. My favorite from the Bible, my favorite one is let he who has 2 shirts give one to he who has none. Yeah, $40 a year is not that much. You know, that's not a lot. But I think wait, I don't want to have that one out. But yeah, I don't tend to think very heavily about folks who are really rich and all they're kind of doing is dicking around doing nothing. Like, I don't think very hard about that. Like, if somebody has a ton of money and what they do with that money is they hang out and drink with their friends, like, I don't know, man. Like, whatever. Because even though that's, like, a lot of money to me, from my perspective, for somebody to have the kind of money where they can, like, buy a private jet and drink $700 bottles of scotch and stuff like that, like, that's a lot of money from my perspective, but, like, I don't know, it's what, I don't think very hard about it. I do think very hard about the folks who are spending their money, often truly catastrophic quantities of money, on making my life worse. You know, like Leonardo DiCaprio is not actually, as far as I can tell, spending that much money on taking his 25-year-old girlfriends to fancy parties. Like, he's definitely spending a lot of money from my perspective, but from the perspective of, like, what Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk are spending, not just to, like, spend, but to make my life actively worse, it's nothing, right? It's very unimportant. It's very unimportant. I just kind of can't give a crap about people who are only like 10 or even like 100 times richer than me. 10, 100, 200 times richer than me. Like, I can't really give that much of a crap. Like, maybe I'd give more of a crap if they were the richest people around. Or even 1,000. But, you know, the people who are a million times as rich as me are not just Like, I care a lot less about Warren Buffett than I do about Elon Musk, is another way of putting it. I do think that Warren Buffett could be doing much, much better things with that money than what he does. Well, I think they are top 1%, goblins, but it's worth, like, the distribution graph for wealth in the United States is extremely L-shaped. It is extremely L-shaped. It's... The most rich people in our country own such a disproportionate percentage of our economy, that, like, they can make even the top 1% look like paupers. I forget the exact place where the top 1%... I can look it up right now. What am I talking about here? U.S. income distribution, 1%. Average, median, top 1%. Top 1% is 600 and... Top 1% earners, not wealth. Earners, not wealth, is $631,500 per year, which is a lot of money, right? That's a lot of money, but, like, that's the kind of money that, like, the actual political elites of our country make in, like, make in minutes. Yeah, I would say that, like, we might kind of circumvent this question around, like we're using numbers, but I don't think that the numbers are actually, I think they're actually obscuring rather than clarifying. We use numbers because numbers feel solid, but the actual thing we care about is, like, do you have do I have the kind of money to like, change the political landscape around you? And admittedly, right, like, you know, you don't, like, if you're working at different levels of politics, you don't need as much, but, like, I do think that, like, we have to, like, be seriously concerned about people who are in these truly in these levels of wealth where they have and are willing to, again, make everybody else's life worse. Make everybody else's life worse. Or better. They could, but they so rarely do. They so rarely do. And it feels like they do it so much more rarely. And with so much less vigor. The amount of effort that Mark Zuckerberg puts into killing Muslims. Theoretically, but the things that make a dictator... Well, and also is always worth remembering, Tohu, like, the things that that make somebody likely to be a dictator. You know, being a dictator is, there's selective pressure on it, right? Not just everybody becomes a dictator. And so... Oh, dang, I thought I was going to survive that one. So the things that encourage people to become dictators... the things that filter out who gets to be a dictator versus who doesn't get to be a dictator filters out, for the most part, people who I would want to have that kind of power in the first place. We joke about it in the case of elected officials, but I don't think the negative selective pressure on elected officials is nearly as severe. Yeah, same with the obscenely rich, yeah. Yeah, I mean... Being completely honest, I would probably hang on to more wealth than other people. So, like, if I were to make the kind of money that the amount of money that would make me feel comfortable never having to, like, think that hard about work again is, I think, somewhat higher than it would be for other people, not because I live in particular luxury. I actually live a very simple life. Like I'm very cheap, and I am happy to do things like do my own laundry and sew my own clothes and bake my own bread. Like that's all stuff I'm fine with. So but because I'm probably more worried about like inflation and like major economic changes. This is true. Internet Archive is a result of a major philanthropist. This is true. This is true. Internet Archive is a rare true piece of philanthropy, and we should cherish it as long as we have it. But in general, I think it is probably better to just have fewer people. Mura, you're really caught up on the fact that I pay some broke comedians $40 a year, and that is like 2 weeks of my groceries. Oh, thank you, Bug. Thank you, Bug. It's not. It's me being scuff. Literally forgot what is over here. Contraption doesn't budge. It's locked. But you like consumer service, like subscription services are they're just another way to pay for things. Like, Dark Souls. Oh, somebody big is streaming Dark Souls right now. Oh, there's water. Okay, so it's wet down there. So this is an elevator that goes up. Interesting. This is an elevator that goes up. Huh. Huh, that's actually an interesting clue. That's an interesting clue. That is an interesting clue. That's where I came from. Right, I've been over here. There's not much over here. That is an interesting clue. Oh. Yeah, so unless I get like an amulet of water breathing or something, which I don't think they're going to, right? That would be not impossible, but kind of atypical. Right? Because normally, if they're going to bother to allow you to swim at all, they'll give you like some sort of swimming animation. So like, you know, Ocarina of Time, you have a swimming animation, and then you get things that make you better at swimming. You don't just go from like no swimming to swimming options in most games. You go from swimming options to better swimming options. I'm just thinking out loud about the game design. So this elevator, I'm like 99% sure it goes up. 99% sure it goes up. So hold on, let's think about where am I? That's possible. That's possible. That's possible. That's possible. Yeah, $15 a month for FF14. Like whatever. Whatever. That's 3 beers. That's 3 relatively cheap beers. That's 3 relatively cheap beers a month. That's Mura, Mura, you are crab bucketing. You are crab bucketing. You are doing rich people's work for them. If you are getting this upset about truly insignificant luxuries. You are if that is the class of person that you're mad at, is people who are like borderline homeless. If somebody being borderline homeless is too rich, like that's really oh, hold on, there's another person. Oh, actually, hold on, I forgot to do one of my most important things to do. Okay, so there's another person down there. I think the fall damage will kill me, but that is a body to go after. I am going to go to ads, though, because we've got 6 seconds. We got 6 seconds till ads, so we're going to ads. I am back. I am back. I am back. I am back. All right. Let's. Tohu, don't worry about it. Don't worry about it. Don't encourage her. Alright, let's think about this. Let's think about this. I mean, it's possible that, as mentioned, that could be an elevator that goes somewhere late game, but if it goes up, there's a possibility that means there's something else in the burg or the parish that I haven't seen yet. It's a little bit hard to keep track of the geometry. It's a little bit hard to keep track of the geometry down there. I'm trying to do some geometric transforms in my head, and it's I wonder if I can even do it without a map. Like, my brain is, like, trying to orient it. Hello, MoneyMet. Hello, MoneyMet. I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think most people do notice the big crow. I think people do notice the big crow. I don't know what people would generally notice. Remember, MoneyMet, this is wholly blind playthrough, so I don't really know what other people have seen or not seen. Apparently, I know people have commented that I spend a lot more time thinking about the architecture of the setting than most people. It actually took you a long time to see the crow. Doesn't the crow pick you up at the beginning? Am I misremembering that? Doesn't the crow pick you up? I thought like the crow is how I got here from the asylum. I thought the crow is how you got here from asylum. Okay, that's what I thought. I think kind of the oddest thing, I don't notice it as much outside the asylum, but it still really sticks in my head from the asylum. That in the asylum, like, you can see crumbled walls like these, right? These are crumbled walls, and they're built like medieval walls often are, where there's facings, right? There's these things, there's these facings, and the facings are made out of brick, though these ones seem to be made out of cement somehow. And then you can kind of see it here, and then on the inside there's an infill. And the infill here, you can't tell what the infill is because it's been covered over with plant material. You know, dirt and plant have grown in, and so you can't see what the infill is. But in the asylum, you can see some of the infill from below. And maybe if I go to the burg, I'll be able to see some as well. But you look at the infill, and it's just like cement, which is strange, right? Like, the infill would usually be more rock or rammed earth, particularly if you're in China. The Chinese walls love rammed earth. Chinese architects loved rammed earth, which is good gravy. Is rammed earth an expensive option by comparison? And, well, I'm not even that knowledgeable in architecture. I know a decent amount about history, and you kind of know, cement's relatively old. Like the proper modern cement is obviously like last few hundred years. The Romans used could make poured concrete, but it's labor intensive, and it does fall apart. Right? Like, it's not invulnerable. When we make things with concrete and cement, we don't tend to try to put them in, like, too many arching situations, because that's just, like, expecting way too much out of them. We rely on, like, the force of gravity kind of keeping them coherent. And so it's just odd. It's not, like, impossible, it's just odd. And I'm mostly pointing this out because you asked, like, what might other people might not have seen. As far as I know, from how people reacted in chat, apparently that's a pretty unusual thing. Yeah, you might as well just use rocks, right? You've already got the rocks. Why would you bother grinding up the rocks and figuring out how to suspend them in liquid when you could just put them in, right? When you could just use the rocks. And this is part of the reason why, despite the fact that China invented gunpowder first and used gunpowder weapons longer than Europe, there wasn't a similar gunpowder revolution in China because of, the European walls in the medieval era developed to solve specific types of problems that Europeans were encountering. And those problems were a result of their socio-political status as well as their military technology. That the types of castle walls that we associate with Europe are very tall and very thin. And they're tall and thin because the thing that you really have to worry about with those castles is that castles are designed to let a very small number of defenders continue to operate for a long period of time. And so you use these very high thin walls because the real hazard is that is ladder assaults, an escalade in the more formal terminology. Whoops. Dang it, missed. So an escalade goes through, and if you've only got like 12, 15, 20 guys on the inside of a castle, you don't actually, like, a ladder assault can be very effective. So they're designed to make those as ineffective as possible. And so that's definitely that's part of the reason why they're like that, is you make them tall and thin. You make them thin because of labor concerns. You make them thin because of labor concerns, and you make them tall because height is a lot of your defense. Height by itself is a significant percentage of your entire defensive strategy. But if you're in China, where you're not really building these isolated castles, when you're building fortresses, they're much more deliberate, and they tend to always be cities. So you've got much more labor to go around because it's a city, and the consequences of losing the castle of losing the fortification are much more dramatic. So you need the fortification to be way more robust. And a lot of this also has to do with the fact of, again, a thing that needs to always be kept in mind when we think about medieval construction. And this is the thing that Dark Souls does not adhere to, but very few sci-fi fantasy settings think about very hard, is that the medieval polities, the types of this medieval construction is somewhat downstream of. This is why I've never gotten this one before. Yep. Hello Ryan. Is somewhat downstream of the fact that the entire society has very little resources. Yeah, European castles are unusual. Yes, European castles are actually pretty unusual fortifications, and they are in a large part an output of the fact that medieval European armies are frequently under 1,000 people and very rarely over 10,000 people, which is very, very small by world historical standards. And that's not a result of Europe having a low population. It's a result of Europe having a low administrative centralization. Yeah. Oh, and honestly, Chinese armies are medieval, Chinese armies during a lot of these eras that we're talking about we're talking often 100,000 plus. And that is the kind of army that you get in early modern Europe, and that ancient armies can periodically get to. Thank you, Ryan. That's very kind of you. I am very much hoping for that. I am also a lot of bewilderment. Incredible. Nagi said it was like watching somebody who has never played a video game before, which is fair, I guess. Yeah, well, yeah, when China is unified, yeah, it's well, but like you don't tend to have as big of armies when China is united. It tends like for obvious reasons, right? Like who are you fighting? You know, the big Chinese armies are products of you know, eras like the Three Kingdoms, but you know, the Three Kingdoms is a relatively shattered era of Chinese history, and that's still three kingdoms that are each like huge. And very centralized. That's actually a lot of the issue here, is that medieval armies are everything in medieval society has to be kept in everything about medieval society has to be kept in mind that the socio-political infrastructure that was keeping everything going was heavily divided. Was very, very radically partitioned. Was very, very radically partitioned, and okay, hold on, there's a person over here. I don't know if I can survive this drop, but it's worth the attempt. Oh, nice. Cursed Spite Ring. Okay. Hello, hello, hello. Ow. Okay. So yeah, everything you think about how medieval Europe works, you have to remember that there's just very little state infrastructure. In a way that, like, the medieval era is 1,000 years long. Let's take a look at these things I just got. Boost curse resistance. One of the famous bite rings commissioned by Sir Arster of Karim. Despite the dreadful rumors surrounding its creation, this ring is an unmistakable asset in its ability to help prevent curses. That's cool. And this is the other thing I just got. This mystical ring was created in a sacrificial rite of Velka, the goddess of sin. The magenta-shaded ring is especially rare. Its bearer will lose nothing upon death and will be freed from any curse whatsoever, but the ring itself breaks. Yeah, that was the main person I was looking for. That was the main thing I was looking for, was that person. I'm not sure what else to say about New Londo. I think I'm gonna go back to Blighttown grinding. Because there's definitely a lot. Blighttown feels enormous. I actually really like Blighttown. I actually really, really like Blighttown. But yeah, so one of those things that is often missed is that we tend to talk about castles as if it's primarily an architectural style, but castles are defined not by the architectural style. The architectural style is an output of what defines them, and what defines them is their is that they are private fortified residences. It is somebody's house that has been fortified. And that is already like a huge degree of decentralization of authority. Huge degree of decentralization of authority. I mean, I suppose there's a lot of things you could lose upon death. For one thing, your life, right? Kind of, but you're so a lot is also that like, oh jeez, This route used to be safe. I'm kind of going crazy here. This used to be safe. This used to be a relatively safe route, so it's Scaldy. It's more like if your And IPOP. This is the thing for both Scaldi and IPOP. It is that your government says that you have that right. Right. The castles were a legal right that was extended to loyal vassals for good service, as a rule. It was not something that you did extra legally. It was something that your liege lord said you are allowed to, you are allowed to crenellate. Is crenellation rights is what allows you to make a castle. And it's worth noting, like what the reason why these wind up being so important is that castles provide the noble who has them with improved means to resist their liege lord's demands. So that it means that the liege lord, it means that the vassal has more ability to, has a stronger negotiating position when negotiating future feudal contracts with both their current liege lord and other liege lords. And so it's actually a right that you want to be quite careful about handing out if you are a king or you have other types of vassals. It's actually a right that you want to be quite careful about handing out. And so yeah, well, like I said, the I'm wondering what I'm not explaining. I'm kind of curious. I feel like I'm giving like a very like basic primer on medieval military theory and like why medieval militaries are actually very strange, and castles are an output of the strangeness of that military moment. But I am not sure I've given quite everything. Okay, so this one I can get down safely. But I think I need to jump on the next two. Oop, I think I need to do that, and that. No! Didn't block fast enough. Too slow. Thank you, sir. These little bastards. Okay, so there's definitely stuff around here. I've been down that pathway. Okay, and why am I even bothering to use the spider shield? I don't care about being more toxic right now. Hold on, there might be another way around here. I'm mostly trying to get down to the bonfire at the bottom because that will make exploring the other parts of Blighttown much faster. That'll make exploring the other parts of Blighttown much faster if I can get down there. I got distracted. I got distracted. Flame dogs grind. Those hot dogs are some shit, man. Those hot dogs really throw me for a loop. The hot dogs are something else. To a certain extent you could, but it's probably not a good idea. Highly violent societies are, I'm sure it did, because I'm sure that, like, there's an extent to which if you can get people on board with you doing it, and then you manage to do it before anybody catches you, it'll be treated as a fait accompli, and then you will just count on getting legitimized after the fact. But highly violent societies operate even more intensely on demonstrations of trust than and trustworthiness than our society does. Well, I mean, in IPOP, it's a conspiracy to use your money to crush the poor even more thoroughly. Yeah, no, that's what happens. Medieval society actually feels completely insane when you look at it in isolation. But when you like see the whole of it, there's like a sense to it. Like it's like I get why people did these things. Let's see. Dang it! Dang it, dang it, dang it, dang it. Is there anything over here? Is there anything over here? Chug? No, the hot dogs got me. And not all of it is like super rational, right? I want to be clear. I don't want to over, like sometimes people will do this thing where they oversell, because you start off right with this basic impression that people in the past were just insane and crazy. Hello, thank you, Blast. Congratulations on getting access to your PC again. Congratulations on getting access to your PC again. Now you just need to fix your thermostat. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, everyone has a boss. Everyone has a boss in a medieval society. Everyone's got a boss. And so like people tend to like our default way of being educated is that like people in the past were just dumb and crazy and didn't know how to do anything, and it wasn't until the Enlightenment that anybody figured out anything. And then like it's pretty clear that that's not true. Like our my ancestors were largely peasants. Maybe Mora, maybe maybe. I have thought about it a lot, Mura. I have thought a lot about going back to that. I will freely admit that right now, I just kind of don't mentally feel like I can mentally pull it off. Really? I mean, my level should be at 6. Yeah, I am not feeling, I'm not feeling there. I'm not feeling there. I could take a stab at it, but, I am very anxious about, okay, I gotta jump off this next one. Whoop. Almost got hit by a dart there. I don't know, like, I don't know how to describe this. I feel kind of sluggish right now. I don't feel, like, strengthy. Wait, what? Okay, huh. Let's go here. No, it doesn't really matter. Oh yeah, no, that's just because I am changing the numbers. I have not tried throwing at Queelag. Oh. Shocked that didn't kill me. I deserve to be hit there. I mean, I do have dung pies. Well, I'm poisoned right now. And I'm always really nervous about using any consumables. Gotta move fast before the poison kills me. The captions really do say quail egg. That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I don't know how much of a difference this really makes. Genuinely don't know how much of a difference a lot of this stuff makes. Yeah, sure, old witch's ring, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Let's take a look around here. Don't want to use the binoculars. Oh. Ow. Ow, ow, ow. Is that doing anything? Oh, I'm gonna die here. Or not? Oh. Ow. I think the bigger factor over my, I haven't figured out how to level. I think my reactions are just, like, not there, is, like, the biggest thing. That's what it feels like to me. I don't just mean, like, in general, I mean, like, specifically today, I feel sluggish. I feel specifically sluggish right now. It's just kind of like a rainy, sleepy day for me, right? And I don't know, when I was doing that quail egg grinding, when I was doing that quail egg grinding, I was, really on it. Yeah, I'm it's very, like, reading a book weather. It's very reading a book weather, and it's, keep on, I need to, being very silly here, messing up one of the few pieces of tech I've actually done right. Yeah, no, I'm annoyed with myself for not getting a run in this morning, but I needed the sleep. Yeah. I mean, more in terms of enemies I've fought, the quail egg honestly legitimately feels like the one I have the best handle on. Like, just fully I feel like quail egg is the one who I am the closest to being able to beat. But honestly, after doing it for 20 hours, I don't know. I feel like I need to go back to the drawing board. I would be happy to have some, like, an actual decent foot warmer. I don't like using space heaters. They kind of freak me. Like, I was really taught. Like, I mean, maybe it's like because I'm old and, like, out of date. But, like, I am used to space heaters being a thing that gets people killed all the time. What the heck is that thing? I mean, I guess, I don't know. I feel like my stats aren't the problem. I feel like it's skill issue. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe they are safer now, but, like, yeah, I am so used to the idea of space heaters as being this thing that just, like, absolutely kills you. Like, I am pretty opposed to having one. right, I can just drop here. So I've been using, I just use like, I do the Japanese style where I've got I boil some hot water and put it in a bottle. Alright, I'm gonna save down here because, again, I'm here to explore Blighttown, not here to beat Quelling. So I gotta get here, and I'm already poisoned. Oh, that clears my poison. Nice. Okay, this is tricky. Yeah, it's still a heat source. It's still a heat source, and anything that generates heat has the potential to cause fires, because that's how heat works. Ah, boo! How'd you get me? Little bastard. Yeah, I actually like having the hot water bottle, but I'm pretty sure it is not the most efficient technique at all. It's really good in my bed, but it's not super great for, like, heating my feet up. Yeah, Toxic gets me so fast. The Toxic gets me so freaking fast. No, yeah, no, it doesn't have to be up to... I mean, yeah. It's just boiling's an easy temperature to keep track of. Right, because it's, yeah, 212 F plus a couple degrees, depending on local conditions. I hate that little turn right there. I hate that little turn. Yeah, the bar just fills up immediately. I don't know, man. I mean, I get resistances from wearing armor, but I'm generally avoiding wearing armor if I am not trying to do something specific, because it's got durability, and durability is like my big problem. Durability is like my main resource that I'm running low on. It's my resource I'm struggling to manage at the moment. It is a precious resource to me. So unless I have a good reason to, I am avoiding using that. I could do that, I guess. I mean, it's going down. My durability on everything is going down. Because the big limiting factor on kind of the big reason why I'm stopping Quelling fights is because I broke all of my weapons. And well, strictly speaking, not all, but an alarming percentage of them. 3/4, 75% of my weapons are broken. Oh, hello. Do you have repair dust? Nope. Oh, that's it. Okay. That's a route I haven't gone down before, though, so that's something. That's something. My nerves are good, though. Okay, so Tohu's just fucking with me. Okay, Tohu's just fucking with me. Tohu is just pranking me. You go to a lot of dank places and a lot of dark places. I appreciate it. Yeah, and it's apparently the wrong kind, I guess. Oop. Hello, iPop. Hello. Oh, what, not hello. What am I talking about? Thank you for the almonds. I'm. Yeah. Well. Definitely a huge loss to not have small and tall today. I mean, I've seen them. It's just like they're apparently the wrong kind of thing. I've got like a fire keeper and stuff like that. Like it's, I don't know. Maybe I convert them later or something like that. Excuse me, sir. Whoop. Okay, so I mean, I figured that if they're rare, they're special. Though then again, I don't know how much that holds, right? Like that's like intuitively sensible, but I feel like I've gotten a bunch of stuff that feels rare but doesn't feel special. Keep on thinking I can get past this. People have been saying this, Mora, and it's very amusing to me because it's like, oh, like once you get past the tutorial, like, excuse me, sir, you know, you're gonna breeze through this, and then I continue to not. Oh, because I haven't set it up that way. That is the thing I want to do. Peck on, oh, crap. Crap. That's a new way to die. That's a new way to die. Have I learned how to kick? Yeah, I thought I had done it. Was it that like you jump and can't even jump reliably? How was it? What was it? It was something weird. It was something that like felt super weird. Yep, yep. Like that, yeah. That's really finicky. I mean, I can't even imagine what that's good for. It seems really finicky. Oh, yeah, no, this person is not a fighter. Whoever I am playing as, they are... Combat is not their strong suit. The martial arts are not among their arts. Oh, I mean, I can do, that's a Ryan the Space God, that's a, oh, lost server connection, boo! Well, hold on. I'm dead no matter what. I'm not getting anywhere. So I may as well just show this. Yeah, you can dual fist. You can dual fist. This actually how that was actually part of how I beat Asylum Demon. Was that these left-hand jabs are like the only attack that like feels natural in the game. What the heck? What the heck was I doing damage to? Money Met, have a good night, have a good night. Thank you for stopping by. hold on. Wait, what? 1219. Yeah, I was like, I don't remember anything about that. Oh. Yeah, I don't think I can. Any folklore? Hello, Dania. Folklore is never been a strong suit of mine. Let me think about it. Let me think about that. 'Cause I've read quite a few books on religion. Hold on. Let me think about this. The person to really ask about that would be much more Babinka Bear. But let me look this up. I think I've got one. I'll have to go through my reading list for the last couple of years. I'll have to go through my reading list for the last couple of years to find, because I think there's one I read a couple of years ago, but I can't quite remember the name of it. I can't remember the name on it. What was it? Sorry, I'm just going through. I'm just going through some of my Babinka Bear. I hope I spelled her name right. So Babinka Bear, yeah, Dania, you might like Babinka Bear. Babinka Bear is an American. She's a little bear VTuber, and she tends to do a lot of edutainment streams, like Magic School Bus type games. But she has a really big interest in ancient religions. So it's actually really fun for me to talk to her about some of this stuff, because I'm not actually all that invested in religion and folklore. I tend to focus more on like economics and social history. Economics, social history, political history. I tend to focus I want to be kind of clear here. I'm not like that interested in, like, it's not like a big topic versus small topic thing. It's kind of like a like physically gritty things are things that I tend to be more invested in. I tend to be invested in more like physically gritty things. Like books that I've liked that I've enjoyed really recently were like Hunger and the Sword, or Metropolis and Hinterland was really good, which was about land use patterns in ancient Rome. That tends to be more the kind of stuff that I've been reading lately. Like supernatural beliefs tend to hold a lot less weight to me. I don't know what it is. It's just a matter of interest, right? I think it's just a matter of interest. I don't think it's like that big of a deal. I'm trying to look up like what I this is a sign that I have not tagged my things accurately. I'm trying to figure out the source that I had for Roman religion. That's what I'm looking for. It's the one for Roman religion, and I can't freaking find it. I cannot freaking find it. I definitely just tagged it wrong. Yeah, no, I do kind of, I do kind of want to, I do kind of want to fight off some of the, stereotypes, I guess. I don't want people to think that I am being very judgmental or obnoxious about, like, why I tend to like the things that I like. Because a lot of people who do share my interests are really obnoxious about it. Are really, really annoying about it. So I get that. I get the trepidation. I get the trepidation. God, like this is something I had to study for. Like I had to study stuff about folklore and mythology for grad school, but it was like I went from like very theoretical works, like really really theoretical works, like that French that French guy, Saussure, stuff like Saussure, and then I went straight into like how do you apply it to things that aren't really particularly about folklore. So like Clifford Geertz talks a lot about folklore. Folklore is very important to Clifford Geertz's work, but he's not talking about folklore. It's not his topic. His topic is gambling. Clifford Geertz's topic is gambling. It's not folklore. It's just that like gambling involves a lot of superstition and folklore. And similarly, like I really liked Soldiers and Ghosts. That's actually one of the books I recommend the most frequently on this channel is Soldiers and Ghosts by Lendon. Soldiers and Ghosts is an incredible book. It's amazing. I love Soldiers and Ghosts. But Soldiers and Ghosts is a military history. Is a military history. And the what Soldiers and Ghosts is about like how did Greek and Roman soldiers, what did a Greek and Roman soldier think made a good soldier? And so it is mostly an intellectual history that looks like a military history. But it does also involve, like, one of the ones I found really interesting was a common practice for soldiers during this era, less so in bureaucratic armies, but in less bureaucratic armies, is to sacrifice pieces of your own gear to gods. So, like, that's most of our Gaulish, most of what we know about Gallic equipment is from these sacrifices, where people would sacrifice spears and swords and armor. They would bury them. They would get together in a big group and they would make a giant pile of swords and spears from the entire community, and they'd bury them all. And this was, a kind of way of sacrificing, right? Sacrifices, you have to give things up for. It is making it holy, making it sacred. That's the sacrifice, but it is also giving something up. And, a weapon is a thing to give up to indicate your commitment to warfare. And so, like, we have Roman soldiers who, like, we physically have the sacrifices, right? Because sacrifices aren't always burned. Sacrifices can be, like, thrown into wells as a commonplace, right? So, like, in the bottom of some wells and fountains, we will find catapult pieces. Because that was the Roman soldier's way of doing this. And so, like, this Roman soldier thought that his catapult was part of, like, what made him sacred and holy and connected to the divine. And he thought that sacrificing this piece of a catapult was a part of his, like, practice. And I would consider that a piece of folklore. And hello, Sango. Hello, Sango. Welcome in. So that's not like a great answer, but it's an answer. Oh, we're about to get hit with ads. 5.5 minutes. 5.5 minutes to ads. Okay, so, and I gotta alert you. Your alerts. And pull you over here. Oh, nope. And... Ow. Oh, there you are. Okay. Gotta roll, gotta accept the poison. Okay, accept the poison, take a drink. Go up the ladder. Server connection timed out. I don't like that. I've been getting a lot of chat errors today. Mostly server connections timing out. Not fond of that. Oh no. Oh no, am I here? Am I back? Did I make it back? Uh,